Okay. Welcome, everyone. Happy new catalog season. My name is Chris Danner. I am one of your superstar directors. And I do these calls with Dawn. Dawn, I think, is to the left of me, Dawn Spencer.
I'm
So
waiting.
you're either part of one of our teams, but we think of you all as family. We're really excited about tonight's all consultant connection time. We do these calls if you're new and haven't been on one for a while. We're trying to keep them at just 30 minutes. Could be a challenge because we're going to interview somebody tonight. We're going to have a fun call and we're going to get to know one of our fellow consultants. We're going to try to do this format in the future. We want to learn about our community in hopes that it will inspire you guys to find out about someone who started Sensi probably scared for whatever reason. And their reason that they joined might be sort of similar to you. Maybe they're in a space in life that is similar to yours and you can grab some cool ideas from them. But we're going to make it fun, and we hope that tonight will be something that you guys can enjoy. So we are going to welcome, I'm going to introduce you to tonight's consultant. And many of you might already know her and be a friend of hers, but she comes to us with a really cool background. Prior to Sensi, she had a communications degree. She worked for a pharmaceutical company out in California. She worked for Pfizer for quite a while. I think I told you she had a communications major and she wasn't really happy in her career field of choice. So she's from Wisconsin, was living in California as a pharmaceutical rep. She moved back to Wisconsin and she went back to school. She wanted to do something where she could give a little bit more. And she became a teacher. Actually, I think she's got like 3 masters. She told me what they were, like a teacher, I think a reading specialist, but yeah, she's super advanced in her teaching field. She taught from 2011 until currently, as she's a Sensi consultant. She met her husband in 2015,
Talk about
and
Sensi. We haven't
in
met her yet, for sure.
2018, they had their son, Max. So, for those of you who know our consultant now, because you probably know her boy, Max, Max was born very premature, just a little over 1 pound in 2018. She was still teaching at the time. And Sensi came into her life right around that same time. So, Jaana is our consultant that we're going to speak with and interview this evening. And I'm excited for you guys to hear from Jaana. We're going to ask Jaana a few questions, and she's very conversational. So I'm excited for her to just share a little bit about her. So, Jaana, why don't you tell us what life was like and how you met Sensi and how Sensi came into your life?
Okay. Well, first of all, let me just say that was a really nice introduction and I feel really nervous. So I'm really sorry, you guys, if I'm like kind of giggly and blushy because I get really nervous when people talk about me like that. So thanks for tuning in, first of all. Second of all, let's see. Well, I met my husband in like 2014, I want to say, and my star director, Robin, is best friends with my sister-in-law. So the first Christmas when I spent with like his family, I got a Scentsy warmer, a teacher Scentsy warmer from my sister-in-law. And I'm assuming she bought that from Robin. In fact, I know she bought it from Robin and I loved it. And I started using the wax. And then I had asked, like, could I just reach out to her Scentsy person so that I could start to buy my own wax for the warmer. So really quick, there's people on my team that are trying to get on the link, but they're saying it won't let them. Could someone like just post on the Just Be page, maybe just like the Zoom link,
I
because
got
there
you.
it keeps popping up. Okay, thanks.
Yep, I got you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so anyways, this friendship sort of developed with Robin because Robin is just always at like family things, and she was just my Scentsy person. And I just always admired the way she always sent me, mail. She would always send me samples. She would always just kind of, if you guys know Robin Dinnick, then you know that she just shares like every portion of her life. So, sorry, okay. So yeah, so Robin's just real transparent on her, page, on her Facebook page, and she would post when she would earn like a trip or if she was doing a gathering with Scentsy. And I think in that time in my life, I, was a new mom, but I'm also an older mom. I didn't have my son until I was 40. And so I really was like trying to kind of figure out like where I could find connection or people. I was feeling very alone. And then COVID happened. And so then I was like at home teaching remotely with like no interaction with anyone. And I just remember seeing Robin posting pictures of her going to Marco Island. And I just was like, I want that. And she must have asked me about a dozen times oh, thanks, Chris. Not true, but okay. She must have asked a dozen times. Like she would just always work it into the conversation very naturally, but she never pushed me or pressured me. She was fine with me being her customer. I only bought Luna from her. I only used one wax for the first like 5 years of using Scentsy. I never like branched out into anything. I just love Luna. So yeah. And then she got me to have a party, and I was like really worried that no one would buy from the party, but the party was pretty successful. And then afterwards, there must have been some type of join promotion. And so she kind of laid it out as a choice. And she was just like, ask me anything. And I think I had the same kind of questions a lot of us did. Like, what if no one buys from me? Can I just use it as my personal discount? How do you do taxes? Like just the basic kind of things so that when I went to my family and friends and like announced that now I'm like a Scentsy rep, they didn't think I was like completely nuts. Because I think what makes I never, ever, ever had sold anything like MLM, not Mary Kay, not Color Street. I have never been to a party. I never joined parties online. I didn't do any of that. I didn't really buy products like from Pampered Chef or anything. So I was not like well versed in this at all. Scentsy was really the only thing. So when I joined completely blind. Like I had no idea what I was getting into. And then it kind of just took off from there. I never in a million years would have thought that I'm like, wouldn't be teaching anymore and that I'm like at home traveling, doing all the things I want, and just like in such a good like mental health state, like where I'm at now, like so happy and like satisfied.
That's
Where I'm
awesome. So did you ever like you say that you kind of like you were asked, I know you were asked by Robin several times. But like did you ever have any glimmer of an idea of what life could be like if you could make this a business at the time? Or you just thought, I'm just gonna do it and have fun with it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was really skeptical. I honestly assumed like everybody that did like an MLM had to have like a lot of stock. I assumed that like I needed to like have access to even like a computer and just like an office space, which I don't have any of that. And I definitely just was like, okay, well, even if it's like 20 bucks a month extra, that's worth it to me. Like it's 20 bucks that I could spend on maybe saving for a vacation. It wasn't, I thought that like it wasn't obtainable, like to earn an incentive, because I just figured, Robin is way up at the top. That's not something I thought I would ever be able to do, but I just went for it and I honestly loved the product. So it became like very easily just to like share how much I like it, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because I really did use it.
And you joined when?
It'll be in 2019, I think, or no, way after that, because it'll only be 4 years this May.
Okay, so
So maybe
May.
like 2020. I mean, it was like it was in during COVID.
During COVID, that's what I was going to say too. So that's an interesting time that you built your business as well. You weren't doing shows, home parties.
No,
And
and I never
school,
had. I
what was
never
it?
have.
Was school happening for you online at the same time?
Yeah, so I was teaching kindergarten remotely and then with a 1-year-old and just stuck in my house all day. And so I just was, there was nothing. And then I was like, I'm really crazy to even do this. But that's kind of when people were spending, like, that's what made me end up having the party because I was using tons more wax. Because, yeah, May of COVID, Robin's saying. So I was using tons of Luna because when I was home, I wanted my house to smell good to like bring in the, the craziness. So I was like asking for like buying more product, which I think a lot of people experienced during that time. And I really didn't expect to have like to grow a team or anything like that, but it just turns out that there's so many other people like me that were feeling the same feelings as all of us were during that time. We just wanted connection. So I think that's kind of like where it started.
Yeah, yeah. So we know that you have had a lot of success, and I know that we could get carried away with like you telling us a lot of different things that you've done to grow your business. But if you could be specific and maybe say like what number one thing helped you grow the consistent business that you have today, selling and recruiting? Like, is there
Okay.
just one specific, I mean, one thing?
Yeah. So I just want to preface this by saying, in case you guys don't know, I have never done a home party. Not saying you don't have to. That's like I'm on my phone right now. I don't even, I have a tablet, but my son usually uses it. So I do everything on my phone. And I've never done a show. I don't carry stock. I just have like my personal little bit. So that's kind of the way I run my business. So if you're feeling, or if some people are thinking that there's just like one way to do it, I just want to say there's so many different paths that you could take to like be successful. And it's not set in stone. You just sort of have to trial and error. But the one thing that I have always said, especially if like you're new, is to think bigger. So if you are a brand new consultant and you're getting that PRV in and you have a really great customer and you're maybe thinking like, I don't want to ask her to join because then I'll lose my PRV. But I always, and this again is like mentoring from Robin, would just always remind me like, no, you ask her to join every time. Anybody who's buying, those are going to be great consultants. So I always was willing to kind of sacrifice the PRV and just think, well, then I'm going to have to find another great customer, and then just take them under my wing and grow my team. And I've always encouraged my team to just feel like think bigger because it's really, once you understand the way numbers work, it's a lot easier for me to to hit my goal when I have a group of people around me also working toward their own goals and just like supporting each other.
Yeah,
And I'm also just like a really big advocate of online parties. I know that a lot of people are kind of tuned out and there's a zillion different ways you can do them, shopping links, blah, blah, blah. But it's the easiest way to meet new people. And it's just such an important thing in this business. Still, even for like leaders, I'm constantly thinking how I can grow my customer base. And for me, it's parties.
it's
It's
parties.
parties. Yeah.
And you do yours online. So think
Hmm.
about that though. Yana does hers online, but like that doesn't mean if you don't feel comfortable being online a lot,
Yeah.
then figure out ways to start doing in person because, now that we're post COVID, maybe some people don't have it. Like I know for me personally, I have a lot of friends who they don't really get online that much. Like
Yeah.
some do, but not everybody. So, online parties sometimes work for me, but face-to-face parties work really well for me. So like
Yeah.
Yana's telling you one way that she does it. Don't get pigeonholed into thinking that's the only way, but it's fun to
Exactly.
see how somebody else has been able to embrace the business, embrace their Scentsy business and get so much out of it. Um, I think what's really cool, and I would love for you to share a little bit about your thoughts on your social media presence, Yana. Like you do a great job of using social media as an engagement tool, like you communicate with your social media, and like people know a lot about Jaana, even though they maybe have never even met you before. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I do have success is because I kind of just lay it all out there. And if you notice, I have like a normal page and I try to keep that really light and funny and, quotes and kumbaya and all that kind of stuff. And then I have like my private VIP group, and I'm a watcher and I kind of see what people do. And I feel like there's so many Scentsy consultants out there that they're putting in the work and they're showing up and they're posting and they're doing all the things, but we call it kind of like posting and praying, just hoping that someone's going to connect with them. When really, I feel like for me on my VIP page, I share a lot of myself, whether it be like, what recipe am I am I going to cook tonight? Or my son has some special needs, epilepsy, things like that. I feel like when I'm just vulnerable and I talk about that kind of stuff, and I'm not doing it strategically, it's almost like a diary for me. Like I just sort of let it out. And so many people respond and connect to me. And I think that there's a lot of Scentsy consultants out there, but when they think of Scentsy, they don't even just think like, oh, well, Yana's posting, I saw something on her thing. They feel like they know me. Like I get Christmas cards from my customers. If I'm sick, they DoorDash me soup. Like it's pretty amazing. I love these people. Like I friend them and I'm on my normal Facebook at night, like try to stay off the VIP page. And I'm like, that's their son. I mean, I'm sure you guys are thinking about people who you're like, we all joke, like when people are going back to school, everyone posts their kids back to school picture. And you're like, oh, I've never met them in real life, but I feel like they're growing up so fast. There's no reason why you can't do that on your VIP group too. Share yourself. Yesterday, I lost my son for 30 minutes. And he went to the neighbor's house and did not tell me. And I did not hear because I was on the phone. And I posted that at night. I was sitting there crying, thinking I was like the worst mom. Um, that's the kind of stuff I share. Like, you guys, I need support. This happened tonight. It's just more like my life with a little bit of Scentsy sprinkled in there. And if I am busy, then yeah, of course I'm going to schedule stuff. But if there's something crazy that comes up or I see a way that I'm incorporating Scentsy in my life, like let's say I discovered that it gets out magic marker on the carpet, I might just show that too. You just sort of sprinkle it in. And I think that like Chris and I were talking about this, like when you think of Dawn, for example, and you look at Dawn, what do you think of like what Dawn is known for posting, like on
Oh,
her
you guys
regular
go
page?
ahead and put it in the chat. If you guys know Dawn?
If you follow Dawn Spencer, what do you think of? Like she,
What does
she,
Dawn love?
yeah, she brands herself without even trying. Yes, Carrie, exactly. Kathy, yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah,
Like
the Cubs.
self-worth,
Yeah, right.
like her
Yeah,
family, Jesus, yes.
Who
yeah,
said Cub?
Tonal, the tonal. I know how many weeks
Jessica.
straight Dawn has worked out.
like, yeah,
I know.
her love for her husband, right? That's exactly her family. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so there's so much more to all of us besides Scentsy, right?
Right.
We all have something else besides Scentsy, but like it's fun to get to know each other that way. And then it's also fun to see how on social media other people want to see that. And I think that's one thing that you've done such a good job with,
Right.
like in your VIP group, that people follow you. They're gonna like, they would never buy Scentsy from anyone else.
Right. And they think of me. I mean, there's some people who aren't moms, but maybe they're older moms. So they're kind of helping me. They love to give advice, that kind of thing, because they're an experienced mom. I'm also, like I said, I'm older. So I'm going through a lot of these things that some of my friends went through when they were like 22 years old. And I'm like, I just registered my little boy for kindergarten this fall. So that like appeals to people. And I also am just sort of like a hot mess. Like it's fine. Sometimes I don't brush my hair or, I'll just hop on a live with whatever. I mean, last week my eye was swollen shut and I was like on my VIP group, like, what's wrong with my eye? Someone help me. Um, it's just what you see is what you get. I'm actually like a really introverted person and like have really bad social anxiety and stuff. But for some reason, I think the space of having like me here and everyone out there sort of just gives me a little bravery to just sort of let it all hang out and like let go of the perfection.
Well, that brings
So
me to a good question because Yana, I don't, I'm gonna ask some of you, like, I wouldn't, from the outside looking in, if I didn't know Yana the way that I do, I wouldn't get the impression that you have social anxiety or that you're introverted. And I think a lot of us feel this way. I think a lot of us have a little bit of reservations about being on social media, doing home parties, standing up in front of a group of people and speaking. Not all of us, but some of us have a little bit of fear with that. So, do you have any tips or advice for people that maybe helped you to get over this social anxiety that you can feel?
I shared it with my group. I mean, that's literally what when I'm saying like, I mean, I have depression, I take medication for it. I have severe anxiety. I when I share that kind of stuff, I'm just hoping that people see me as a human and it's not just, about the wax and the warmers and being like, get ready with me, whatever. I'm not doing that. I'm kind of more just that's like my vulnerable side, like saying like this terrifies me
Yeah.
or I don't want to go do that. So I feel like the honesty and especially if you're already like showing up for your business, like there's so many people that I see who I'm just like, good job. Like you are showing up even when the orders aren't coming in. You're just missing that little bit of like that like je ne sais quoi, like that little bit of something. I think it's just like sharing more of yourself. If you don't have a child that you want to talk about, I mean, I don't really talk about my husband that much, but there is times when I do. I'm just, my mother-in-law is just not in my Sensi VIP group. Like I just try to just, even the way I try to type like it's very characteristically me. I know I'm not really answering the question, but I think for me, the way I dealt with this was just saying, like, I am terrified to do like an in-home party. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do like an amazing show and keep stock or have like a really cute office like Chris and Dawn do. We just don't have the room in our little crack house we live in. We don't it's not the season of life that I'm in.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of just work my Sensi into that season. And I really suggest that you do that I mean, that's just something that has been successful for me. And it's
Yeah.
just crazy when I see people posting all this stuff on their normal Facebook page. And then they don't post that stuff on their VIP, which are people who are strategically like watching you and want to support you and stuff. So try to like kind of switch it up a little bit. I don't speak Spanish, French, Robin. Are you kidding? I can't even speak English. Come on.
And Dawn said it too in the chat. People really are drawn to authenticity, and that when you are able to show up, no makeup on, um,
Greasy
admitting that
hair.
you
Yeah.
literally lost your son or like you've just been dealing with a family crisis or whatever, but like you're still here and you're super excited because this is like Scentsy makes you happy, right? And so
Yeah.
your enthusiasm to be able to show up in those moments, it will resonate, and people definitely love that. They need that. People need joy. They need to see that other people with their struggles are still fighting through and showing up. And so that's always inspiring to me. Yana, you do a great job with that. Okay, I know we're getting close to the end, but I'm gonna spitfire a couple of quick things. Okay, just one more question. What's something that has come from doing Scentsy that you would have never dreamed? Like, what is something that you get from this business that no one ever told you was going to happen?
Um, Definitely the friendships. I feel like emotional just talking about it. When you feel like social situations don't happen so easy for you, just having the friends or like the rekindled friendships with people who've decided to join my team or people who I've never met that I just have my back no matter what. Um, that's rare. That is so rare. And it is something to be like treasured, to like love those people. Yeah, not just like, I mean, and yeah, it's my my wax to the max, like family, but it's so many of you, when I joined Scentsy, we weren't even doing in-person stuff. We weren't doing anything like that. There was nothing to go to. So it was just like the calls, or it would just be like, talking to Robin and just having her walk me through like a roller coaster of emotions that you get throughout, the month. Or now as a leader, it's finding other leaders that I can just talk to about everything. And I know that they're gonna to love me the same. And the friendships are, especially as you get older, it's so hard to find true friends that you don't have to filter yourself for. Like if you're going to be my friend, you're going to hear it all, probably too much information and other things. And I don't want someone to judge me. So, and an example of that is like, I'll go to a family party and Robin will be there and she'll come sit by me on the couch because she knows that I'm like freaking out that I'm at this family party because I can't talk to people. And so she'll just sit there and sit next to me. Like it's just amazing. And then the other thing is just the ability to travel. My husband does not value travel at all. He would work every day of his life and not think twice. So for me to like earn trips or like work very hard for that is like a big deal because I feel like our marriage needs that. And I need that, like a break from my son. And um, I definitely don't take that for granted. Like any opportunity I can to like go see my friends, like you guys, I'm kind of like secretly freaking out at World Tour and stuff, but I'm like excited and proud of myself for getting out the door and like going and doing these things. I would never, ever do that kind of stuff if it weren't for Scentsy, ever.
Well, raise,
I'd be,
raise your hand if anyone else has felt that way, because like the life of a mom and having kids and then like getting the whole family ready so you can go to these events is like a big ordeal. And then when you get
yeah,
there, you're like, oh, now I'm worried. Who am I going to see? And what are the
yeah,
expectations? Yeah, like
yeah.
so weird, right? Why? I don't know. I relate to that sometimes. So we had a really good I know we're at the 30-minute mark. We're gonna do a couple of quick giveaways as well. There was a good question. Um, Dawn, have you been keeping track of how many people were on?
Yeah, I have everybody's name in here.
Oh, good. Okay, so are they like numbered or are you just gonna pull
I'm
names?
just gonna pull names.
Okay, cool. But there was one good, really good question, and I'm going to ask you to, if you could just maybe be quick, or maybe you
Mhm.
can address this on the team pages too,
Yeah.
after. But the question was, Caitlin Moore says it may be a stupid question. It's not, Caitlin, but how do you get more people in your VIP group? And I don't have many friends. I only right now have 38 people in my VIP group. Trying to find people to do parties has been really impossible for me. Okay, Caitlin, I only have 106 people in my VIP group. And I've been doing Scentsy since 2008. I don't know how long you've been doing Scentsy, but girl, I think you're crushing it. So pat yourself on the back, first of all, for that. And then, Yana, how do you get more people into your VIP group?
Um, well, I first just want to say that more is not always better. Because, probably only a small fraction of those people see the post anyways, unless it's just some random, post that's always not to do with Scentsy. That's like when you get the most viewers. But as far as to answer your question, if I do get a party, I'm very intentional about like inviting each person. Like I'll even follow up individually. Do you want to join my VIP group? I know some people do like VIP group is only for people who've already purchased. I don't do that because, maybe they didn't want to purchase now, but they'll see something down the road that they want to see. I'm the more the merrier. Another way is just I'm in like a bunch of different mom groups, or I'm in a mom group where, or something that's like a interest for me, which for me is like my son has epilepsy. So I'm in a couple groups that have to do with that. Just people who are in the same, again, season of my life. And if they friend me, then maybe they'll see something on my stories, something like that. And then eventually they might ask about it. And then I'll be like, well, why don't you just join my VIP group? It does not happen overnight. That's like for sure. It's just finding little like organic opportunities. I've tried in the past, like I've said to some of my really great customers, if you have someone else who comes into your house and loves the way your Scentsy smells, invite them. They can invite them to the VIP group. I will accept them every time. it just, uh, yeah, I don't really, I mean, to be completely honest with you, I have no idea what I'm doing half the time. I just sort of like, I don't think
Yeah.
people like realize that sometimes that we're just sort of like, it's a trial and error thing. So for
It's-
me, it's just sort of like growing it by people who are interested and curious, people that have something in common with me. Because for me, again, when I'm sharing, it's, I want to be able to share everything with them, and I know that I'm going to get support. So since they're going to get a lot more than just Sensi in my group.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's an important part. You said you're kind of like networking through some of your networking groups too. And it doesn't happen overnight, but make sure that you're involved in things that fill your cup, that you're interested in, and that when you're involved in those groups, you're not afraid to talk about Sensi when the opportunity arises. I mean, clearly you don't want to first thing go crazy and like go live and be that person, yeah, like vomiting Sensi, and they don't even really know you. Like then they're like, oh, she's a salesy person, right? So, but
Yeah.
there's a time and a place for that. So, you guys, this was awesome. Let's give Jaana all of our love for just sharing herself very authentically. Honestly, it's not easy to do. And that should inspire a lot of us because I think we all have these moments where we don't feel like we are, that maybe our success isn't a result of our good work and the things that we're doing. We don't give ourselves enough credit and we don't see those things. Jaana, you and everyone here, you guys are all amazing. So please do not try to dull your sparkle or stay small. Think big. And Dawn, do you have anything you want to add before we do these drawings?
We did have one more question. I didn't want to ignore it.
Oh, good. I didn't see it.
No, that's fine. It is where did it go? Basically, like, how did you deal with your anxiety when you were teaching? And it's probably kind of a big question, but maybe you can kind of
Yeah.
quickly.
I mean, honestly, it's different because they're kids, like they're 5. So like the little people are a lot easier to deal with and handle than feeling like you're being judged by adults. So I would always feel really safe with all the little ones because they just accepted me for who I am. And I think that's why I like Sensi, because 99.9% of the people that I've met here love me, flawed and all, whatever. If I'm vulnerable, if I'm having a hard time, they don't care. They just automatically just take me under their wing and we just proceed forward.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I adore you, and I'm just glad everybody else got a chance to get to know you a little better tonight. At the end of the day, like authenticity really shines through. You have that, and you do it well. You're real. There's nothing fake about you. You're gonna just let it all out. And I think that there's something to that, that each one of us can maybe do a little better at using our influence, our social media even, to just share, different things like that. So I just really appreciate you, and keep shining, girl. It's just so cool
Thank you.
to see where you've come, and you don't have to work no more at that 9 to 5, and deal
I
with that.
know,
So,
never in a
so
million
cool.
years.
Yeah,
Never in a
so
million
cool.
years.
Well, she's still working. She just isn't going to that
That
teaching,
9 to 5, yeah. She's
right?
like,
That 9 to 5. Yeah.
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 working it in another kind of way.
Yeah.
Way.
And I just want to say, like, even if you don't think we see you, like we see you, and like I'm so proud of so many people that I see like online trying, like I see it. I think we all do as leaders. It's just, everyone's more inclined to focus on like negative things, but like we got your back. Like we all see it and we all care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sisterhood is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah. And that's another
And
thing
thank
to
you.
remind ourselves, like, it is a beautiful thing, but it can be an ugly thing if we're not good. If we're talking bad about people, if we're not sharing Cincy spirit, you know what I mean? So it's really good that it's just a good check. Just check yourself here and there, like, what kind of friend am I being to the Cincy world? So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to poll?
Thanks everyone for showing up tonight and being a part of our community in a positive way too. It's important to us. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a space that's safe for women to grow and be better. So that's the goal. Thanks for coming and being a part of that. Now we're going to give away I want you to pull 2 names and I'll send 2 gift cards.
I don't
2
have
little treats.
anybody home to pull, so I'll have to do it myself. Okay, there's a lot in here. A lot of you girls showed up tonight. I'm so proud of you. 1,
Yes.
I saw what that one was. 2. All right, so we have Nikki, whoop, whoop, California Nikki, and then
Woo-hoo, happy Tuesday.
yeah, and then
All right.
Melissa Wendland. I couldn't read my hand.
Melissa Wendland.
Wendland.
Hey.
Yay! So
She's been my friend since junior high.
Awesome. Okay, cool. If you guys have any additional questions for Jaana, I know that she would be open to accepting your friend requests or your messages. She's part of Robin's team, and she has a large director team of her own as well, but she's always very generous. As also, I'm not saying that, you know, you can like spend hours. Don't get her on the phone and take hours of her time. She's got
I have
customers.
nothing going on anyway.
But we love you. Thank you. This was fun.
I agree.
This was fun. I think that we should continue doing this kind of a series because I know everyone learns differently, but I get really inspired by hearing other people, their ideas and just kind of being interviewed like that. I thought that was cool that you guys did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. So good to see everybody tonight. Thanks for showing up for yourself and showing us your beautiful faces.
All
See you
right.
in April.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.